Welcome to Sleek Notes E-Commerce Boost Podcast, your chance to learn from the e-commerce experts so you can boost your business.
Hey folks, this week you're going to learn about the 7 most important steps in the customer journey, how to raise brand awareness so you won't end up as the best kept secret on the internet, and lastly, you'll find out if customer loyalty really is a myth. I've spoken to Brian Carter, who's the CEO and digital marketing consultant in the Carter Group. Let's roll the interview. Brian, thank you so much for joining this show. If you could just begin with introducing yourself.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Julie. Thanks for having me. This is where I get to brag and try to be humble at the same time so nobody hates me. So I'm an author. I'm a keynote speaker. I've been doing digital marketing since 1999. Started with SEO, then Google Ads in 2004, and then I got into social media in 2007. Facebook marketing, advertising 2010. And we've worked with all kinds of companies from Microsoft to NBC, Universal Studios, Carl's Jr. Hardee's, U.S. Army, but also a lot of solopreneurs, franchisees, bloggers, and other people too. So we created one of the first Facebook marketing courses in 2010. And 3 of our students in that course were the first documented case studies of people getting profits from Facebook. And everybody was saying you couldn't do that at the time, which was kind of cool to achieve that. I've written 5 books, been on TV, been in magazines and Wall Street Journal, et cetera. I'm part of an IBM influencer group. I do like 25 paid keynotes a year to corporations, franchises, associations. I've actually spoken in Copenhagen. I've spoken in Oslo, Norway. I've been around the world as well. And I speak about social media, marketing, sales, customer service, innovation. How do the most successful companies cut through the noise, focus, and make those results happen? And I'm working on a new book that's called Zombies, Babies, and Bacon, What Your Customers Want and How to Give It to Them.
Wow, that's really impressive, I must say. So obviously, this interview is going to be all about the customer journey. So can you just maybe from an e-commerce perspective, start out by just going through what is the customer journey or what it can be?
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's important to realize like customers don't know they're on a journey. Like, I mean, we can map it out and how we think about it. But I think when you think about your own experience as a customer, we just we buy things and we like certain things and all that stuff. So as a marketer, and somebody looking at sales or customer service, I look at the customer journey in terms of the marketing and sales funnel, right? Which also maybe has customer service in it too. So the customer may have this journey that they're on, but the company has these really specific goals and messaging and metrics for each stage of that journey or funnel. So whether you're raising awareness for people that never heard of you or creating engagement and enthusiasm, or you're getting leads or getting sales or increasing your profits or making sure existing customers know all the stuff you do and how you can help them, or fostering customer loyalty, every level of that funnel has a goal you're trying to achieve with the customer and a key metric you can use to measure it. And when you achieve that goal for that part of the journey or the funnel, when you achieve that funnel goal, the customer moves along that journey, right? And if you don't achieve it, they don't continue with you. It's the problem. So if your funnel is not effective at some point, the customer won't move forward, or maybe they'll go on a journey with another company.
The journey obviously typically starts when the customer is aware of your brand, or where do you see it starting?
I think it starts with reaching people who don't really know you exist yet, right? That's the most basic level. Without awareness, you can't do anything, right? Their journey starts with knowing that your company exists or that the product or service exists. So if you can't get their attention, you can't persuade them to buy, right? They've got to be interested in you and they've got to buy into what you're saying. And a lot of companies skip over awareness. They take it for granted. They get really excited. We've got all these really advanced analytics now, and we've got conversion optimization, and we can focus on that. And so some people have devalued awareness. We got this divide of traditional marketers who spend a lot of time on awareness with TV, radio, whatever. And then we've got a lot of digital marketers that we think we're pretty smart, and we don't always value awareness as much as we should. And that's a mistake, because a lot of companies struggle because they don't have enough awareness with enough people. Their customers aren't aware of everything they do, right? So the secret of being the best is not being the best kept secret. And you have to know how many customers there are in the market for you and how often you're reaching them. That's the most basic start. And it's amazing to me how few companies even know how many customers are there out there for me and how many of them do I reach once a week, for example. A lot of companies can't answer that question.
If you're currently thinking to yourself, oh, I don't actually know that, keep listening. Here's Brian on how you can find out.
You know, I believe after doing a lot of different types of marketing, this is, I think, this might sound weird or revolutionary to some people, but I believe that Facebook is the center of all marketing now because of their data and your ability to learn and test with it. So Facebook has a lot of data, not just stuff that people have told Facebook about it, but all kinds of other consumer data in it. So you can look at a Facebook ad target and find out whether you're targeting people by a job title or by an interest or whatever you're targeting them by. You can find out exactly how many people are in that group. You can do a similar thing with Google's keyword planning tools to see how many searches there are, but that won't tell you how many people there are, which is what I like about Facebook.
Oh, really? That's interesting. So you just mentioned a lot of companies failing when it comes to awareness, but is there anywhere else the customer journey are typically failing?
Yeah. Every company has different problems, right? So you have to be able to look at your funnel as a machine, right? You have this marketing sales machine, hopefully, that you're trying to create, and you got to be able to measure the key metric at every level and know the benchmarks for that level too, right? So which part's out of whack? Like it's almost like setting up a factory where you're going to try and increase throughput through your factory, and you need to look for the bottleneck in production, right? Is there a machine problem, a people problem? You're just going to find the bottleneck in your funnel and solve it, right? Because how else are you going to measure the customer journey? You need metrics. So are you getting enough awareness? Are you converting enough people to sales? Is your conversion rate at an industry standard level, or is it too low? So you can look out there for the benchmarks, right? I mean, whether it's lead gen or conversion, like sales conversion rate, there are industry reviews out there that you can Google and find the right numbers. And I could do some off the top of my head, but you need to know what benchmarks you should be hitting so you know which part of your funnel is failing.
Yeah, so where they really fall away and move to another company, really.
There are some big common mistakes. I mean, like you want to be able to diagnose your own company's problems, but a lot of companies don't have clear goals. They aren't using the right key metrics. They don't stick to one key metric for a goal. Like they'll get confused by their metrics. They're using the wrong metrics. They do things that aren't working very well and they don't stop doing them. Like people will get really married, like their ego gets involved, and we get married to certain things that we've decided to do. And you've got politics within organizations that like the boss said to do this, we can't stop, or whatever it is. So we'll keep doing things that don't work very well. Some people don't advertise at all. Some people don't advertise enough. Some people companies are not testing enough new tactics and creative ideas. A lot of companies have difficulty creating ideas and content. They just don't know how to create a lot of ideas and content. So they don't test enough stuff to see what the customer responds to the most. And all those things mean you're not driving that customer through that journey. You're not creating the success that you want.
I know maybe it's not even possible to give an amount of how many steps the customer journey should have, but maybe at least what are the most important steps in the customer journey?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have awareness. Some kind of engagement's good too, because that kind of proves people are paying attention. And you can also look at lead generation as a couple different things. You could consider it part of conversion, or you could consider it a kind of engagement. Then there's sales, repeat sales. So you got 4 or 5, right? And you can have different types of awareness, passive and active. You can have videos where people are kind of just passively becoming aware of you. Active, you can have people interacting with social posts like comments, shares, and that kind of proves they're paying attention. They're getting emotionally engaged. You can do the lead generation. So, I mean, really, and you can do email follow-ups too, your emails out to people. And retargeting can be considered part of a lot of those things because you can retarget with a lot of those different levels. But that really gives you 6 or 7 stages overall.
You just said retargeting, and I was just about to ask how e-commerces can make their customer journey as effective as possible. And then I'm thinking, is retargeting one of them?
Yeah, it is. I think retargeting is critical, indispensable. You have to do it. It's not just a best practice. It's like, I mean, I think a lot of people realize they should be doing email marketing, and the stats in the industry for years were that email marketing is the most highest ROI marketing channel there is. But even the best email marketers can't get 80% of their list to open their emails, right? So how effective are you going to be if you can't get people to open your emails? So retargeting is a similar owned media type of strategy, right? You've got a list, and it's, maybe the list is conceptual. It's part of the ad program. It's like all these website visitors or people that interacted with your video, or people interacted with a post that you can retarget, or it's emails you uploaded you can use as custom audiences. But anything you would put out there as an email, you can create an ad for, whether it's an image or text or video. If you want to get that message across to people through an email, then you should absolutely have a retargeting ad that does the same thing, at least one, right?
Oh, that's interesting. So using the content of your emails and turning them into ads as well?
Yeah, because I think because retargeting is you want to keep it fresh. You want to watch and make sure you don't saturate the same people with the same message too much. And I think, like, if you ever fly, I think a really good example is how they keep having to do that safety video or the safety explanation. And the best airlines make that more interesting. They do it differently, or they change it from time to time. And that's what you need to do with your retargeting. You have to change up your message. You have to have a bigger variety of messages, and you have to watch your frequency. How often have you hit that limited audience with the same message over and over and over again?
Even though your potential customers don't know that they're about to enter your customer journey, the awareness stage is where the magic happens and where they decide whether they like you or not. Here's Brian on how to make it love at first sight.
To reach out and interrupt people that have never heard of you in an affordable way, the best at that is Facebook and Instagram. So that ad platform that works for both, since Instagram's owned by Facebook, is extremely affordable, extremely sophisticated. It's on par with Google. I mean, these are the two best advertising platforms out there. So I think those are an important platform. You need to know, or someone in your organization has to know how to do that effectively and get training and all that. You can look at buzzsumo.com, which is one of my favorite tools, to see what do your customers engage with the most, and on which platforms are they engaging, because that's going to give you some really big hints about what kind of content's going to work at the awareness level for you. Because again, engagement is proof that the awareness worked, right? Like, people, if you undervalue engagement, you can have all kinds. Exposure is not enough, right? Because if you have you're exposing stuff out there, but it's not getting people's attention, not going to their brain, it doesn't create awareness. So awareness is not the same as exposure. And you don't have any proof that awareness has happened until you have engagement or traffic or something else, right? So that's why those two are really important to go together. And video views are great for awareness, but there are some downsides. Like YouTube, it's hard to get traffic from your videos, and Facebook, you can get some traffic, but it's hard to get likes, comments, and shares on videos. So you've got to have multiple campaigns and multiple goals going on at the same time.
Oh, interesting. Do you see the work with raising brand awareness? Does that stop once you get an email or once they engage with you?
No, absolutely not. Because think about it this way: like, how many lists have you joined, and then you've never heard from that person again, or you totally forgot about that company, or you didn't even open the email, right?
Yeah.
So people are really overestimating the effectiveness of email, because if people don't open it, it's not going to work. And only 20% of people open it when you're doing a good job, right? So our best, for example, our best lead gen clients, they're not just doing one lead magnet, right? They're doing repeated, they're doing a new lead magnet every quarter, right? They created a quiz, and then they created an ebook, and then they created something else. So over time, you may actually get the same person to opt into an email list multiple times, and you just consider it a form of engagement. You could have somebody that, like, think about the companies you've already bought stuff from, and you don't even know all the stuff they offer, right? So we're not even talking about just an email lead. We're talking about like a customer who doesn't know everything you do, right? And we have this problem where we're in our own company all the time, and we know everything about our company, right? Because we've spent 40 hours a week at it for weeks and weeks and weeks. How many hours or even minutes has the average customer or email lead spent understanding what you do? Not very many, right? So you have to continually reach people, even existing customers, with all the messaging you want. They need to continue to be aware of you. They need to be aware of everything you do. You need to connect the dots for them about how what you do fits their wants and their needs and solve their problems, because they are not going to connect the dots themselves. You have to do it for them, right? This is the work we have to do, and a lot of it goes undone for a lot of companies.
Oh, great. I just want to talk a little bit about customer loyalty as well, because we think the best customer is obviously a loyal customer or a returning customer. And how do you then create customer loyalty through that customer journey?
How many companies are you loyal to?
Well, I don't know, a few, I think. Not very loyal, really, are we?
Right. No, we're not. I think for a lot of companies, loyalty is a myth, right? Very few companies achieve it. Again, you got everything. Like, one of the biggest mistakes that companies make is they don't really think about things from their customer's perspective. And it's easy to say, oh yeah, we want to think about things from our customer's perspective. But when you talk about loyalty, just ask yourself as a customer, how loyal am I to the brands? Like, I've got a mouse here. I have no idea what this company is, right?
Yeah.
Like I see a logo, but I don't know what that logo means. So I've had this mouse for a while. I will have to go back to Amazon and look at my orders to find out what it was and buy it again. So I might be loyal to that mouse, but really I'm loyal to Amazon, because Amazon is this amazing source of everything. Apple, creates loyalty because they've created this cult using this amazing branding that they've done and the emotional results, right? And they also make their devices incompatible with other companies, right? Their branding, what I learned from them is, like, if you want more customers and loyalty, you got to go for the heart. Like, if people don't feel, they don't buy, and the more they feel, the more they buy.
That's really sort of a refreshing perspective, because I hear a lot of people talking about how to get loyal customers. Like, that's the end goal. That's what we really want, a bunch of loyal customers.
Well, I think you can create, like, repeat sales. If you have some products have built-in loyalty, right? Like, if you continually need more, like, I need more pistachios, I'm going to get more of those. So there are ways to kind of create some loyalty, but I wouldn't. It's more, I think of it as, there are reasons people will do repeat sales behavior, but I don't think of it as like people have this value that I'm going to be loyal to your company. We've created a partnership and I believe in you. No, it's not. It doesn't work that way. In a capitalistic marketplace where our goal is to, like, new businesses come in and sell stuff, we don't want loyalty. If we wanted loyalty, if everybody was loyal, no new business could start, right? Because there wouldn't be any way to get those customers.
Great. Interesting. Okay, so finally, just to round things up, I know this might be a tricky question, but what 3 things should any e-commerce person take into consideration when mapping their customer journey?
Well, the first 2 things, one is, are you advertising? But the more important one is, are you advertising enough? Do you have a big enough ad budget to make it, right? So let's talk about what that means, right? Like, are you going to do engagement, you're going to spend $500 to $1,000 a month and learn a lot, right? If you're going to do B2C lead gen, you need $1,000, $2,000 a month. Or you're going to do conversion campaigns for e-commerce, you're going to spend 2,000, 5,000, however many thousand, you're going to spend $3,000 to $8,000 a month on ads, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people underfund new businesses, so some businesses come in, they got funding, they can do that. Other businesses, they're entrepreneurs with a dream that don't really have any money, and they think internet marketing and social media represent this free path to freedom through business, but it's not free. Learning costs money, mistakes cost money, and you can work your way up. If you have a great product and a great service, you could be getting profits right away. But if you don't, and you have to learn what's going to work, where are you going to get the ad budget to learn that from? Because viral is a pipe dream. It's like trying to play the lottery. Most people, hardly anyone goes viral. So you need ads, right? So those are the first two. But the third is you've got to put yourself in the customer's shoes for real. You've got to distance yourself from your own opinions, from your background, your biases, and realize that your ideal customer may not be just like you. So, start with that customer journey map, and then you're going to improve that map with the data you get back from all this marketing stuff you do. Listen to your customers through the data and see how they respond to your funnel.
Brian, great. Amazing stuff. Really interesting.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for your time. That was great. Okay, podcast people, that was all from Brian Carter and E-Commerce Boost this week. Yet again, please remember to rate this podcast if you like what you hear, and tune in next week for more e-commerce tips. Cheers!
This session of E-Commerce Boost was produced by Sleeknote. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on tactics and strategies that'll help boost your e-commerce.